Thanksgiving is here. We're thankful for y'all. We're going to share a few more things we're thankful for, but we've also got Joshua Bates, 2023 center committed to the Oklahoma Sooners, coming up on today's show. This is Locked On Sooners.
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, Sooner Nation? Happy Thanksgiving and welcome to Locked On Sooners. Today's episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline is the number one source for all your sports betting needs. It's the fastest and the easiest place to bet on all your favorite sports. BetOnline is where the game starts. Thank you for joining us. My name is John Williams. You can follow me on Twitter at John9Williams. He's Josh Helmer. You can follow him on Twitter at JoshOnRef. You can also hear him Monday through Friday from 9 to noon on 94.7 The Ref in Norman. Josh, happy Thanksgiving to you, to your loved ones, your family. How you doing, man?
Doing great. Thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well, John. Happy Thanksgiving to Sooner Nation. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody watching along on Locked On Sooners and beyond. Appreciate you guys and hope everybody has a tremendous holiday and obviously travel safe, all those fun things. But thankful for all of you.
Yeah, and that's kind of where it starts. We're really thankful that you all take the time to make us your first listen every single day, or just to make us a part of your commute, to make us a part of your work day, your workout. So thank you so much for being along for the ride and sharing us with your family and friends. We appreciate all that. So Josh, let's talk Oklahoma Sooners. This doesn't even have to be football specific. We can just talk the program in general. What's something you're thankful for in Oklahoma athletics?
I think just in general, the commitment to excellence, I'm thankful for at the University of Oklahoma. I started thinking to myself, well, I'm thankful for all of the coaches that we get to cover at OU. And that wasn't almost broad enough to encompass sort of, I guess, what I'm thankful for. It's that, right? But it's the players and the athletes and the families and the fan base, just the commitment to excellence, right? I mean, think about the different personalities of coaches and the different, winners of all these coaches. I just think, front of the mind, obviously, a lot of people would, Patty Gasso, the national championships that she in softball have won. What about KJ Kindler and Mark Williams in gymnastics? Just incredible. Porter Moser, what a personality that Oklahoma fans get to watch and enjoy. And we're just getting started with this men's basketball season. Similar with Coach Ginny Baranchek. Each of those two, the pursuits of excellence that are in place with those two programs, I think OU fans have such an exciting future in both men's and women's basketball to start thinking about and just getting excited for moving forward. Golf, right? I mean, it goes on and on and on. And then you get to, the big fish, which is football. And I think, again, you're thankful for Sooner Nation, right? The investment, the engagement in this sport and in our show just reflects that. The again, commitment to excellence. That's got to be what you're thankful for.
Yeah, and I'll kind of go to the top of the athletic program. That's Joe Castiglione. Like, thankful for just a steady hand. And I've never met Joe Castiglione. He doesn't listen to the show, so he's not going to hear me, showering him with all this praise. But just a steady hand at the wheel. Everything that happened this time last year, it threw kind of Sooner Nation into chaos a little bit. Like, it was a very trying time. I remember covering, you were still part of Sooners Wire at the time. And, that Sunday when everything dropped, it was shocking. Like, I was out at the park with my kids and had no inkling that this was going to be the case. And then all this stuff starts breaking. And you're like, what's going on? But to hear from Joe Castiglione and then to another extent, Joseph Harraz, and then a little bit later, Bob Stoops, and just the leadership, the leadership that's at the University of Oklahoma is strong and they're committed and they're confident in what they're doing. And I think that trickles down to the rest of the athletics programs. You talked about the standard of excellence across the board with the coaching staff, the coaches that they've hired. I mean, I think that filters down from Joe Harroz and really to Joe Castiglione. Like, he's got a vision for what he's looking for. He's got a standard that he wants each athletic program to achieve. And I feel like he's hit, the ball out of the park with the coaching hires that they've made over the last, during his tenure, really. I mean, I don't think that there's been one bad hire. I mean, you talked about all the other sports and didn't mention baseball. So let me do that with Skip Johnson. I mean, took a team that was kind of a middling Big 12 team, in the middle part of the season last year. And they went on this incredible run to end the season, go through the Big 12, championship, win a tournament title, go to the College World Series, get to the final. Like, what a remarkable run. And I feel like that's just been Oklahoma athletics all year long is, the women's basketball team getting to the round of 32. Men's basketball had a decent run in Porter Moser's first year. And then, just all the energy and anticipation and excitement with football, even though the season hasn't gone the way that many of us thought it might. It's gone the way that many Oklahoma fans thought it might, but I don't know. There's just something to the energy. It's palpable. Like, you believe that it's going to get better because you believe in the guy that's at the helm. Like, you believe in the guy captaining the ship that you're going to get from, England across, the Atlantic Ocean to North America. You're not going to, and you might, have to avoid some icebergs along the way. You might run into a few, but he's going to keep the ship afloat and he's going to steady it. He's going to ride it. He's going to get to the destination, which ultimately for Oklahoma is a national championship. So yeah, just thankful for the leadership across the board. And I think it does start with Joe Harroz to an extent. And then also really it's Joe Castiglione at the head of the athletic department, really providing a solid foundation so that the program can really move forward and stay strong. So that's for me. Just on the football field alone, just something that I'm thankful for. And that's Eric Gray. I think I remember, the 2021 off season when he transferred in, former, managing editor of Sooners Wire, now a regional editor for USA Today Sports, Patrick Kahn, kept trying to tell me that Eric Gray was going to be the starter. I was like, nah, you're forgetting about Kennedy Brooks. I thought Eric Gray was going to be more involved in 2021 than he was. He wasn't. For some reason, they decided to shelve him. And so that left a lot of people wondering, what could he produce this year? Well, he's far exceeded, I think, everybody's expectations for what he was going to be this year. And so just getting to see him like rebound after not being utilized to the extent that he should have been last year, it's just really nice. It's really nice to see like a I don't even want to call it a redemption story, but just a bounce back, a bounce back story, part of the season. It's been probably one of the highlights of the football season for this year.
No doubt. I mean, he's been incredible. Easily would make a strong case for MVP of this 2022 Oklahoma football team. Beyond even just, the University of Oklahoma, what I'm thankful for, I'm just thankful for the state of Oklahoma. It's been a great place for me to, really grow up. Obviously, if you don't know, I'm from Wichita, Kansas, but left and came to school here and graduated from the University of Oklahoma. And a bunch of my formative years have been in this state with all of you amazing people. So I'm thankful for that, man. And I'm thankful that we get to cover a university like Oklahoma. And really, for me on the podcast side here and on the radio side, it's like Oklahoma sports have been the centerpiece of the sports universe so many times in recent memory. When I think about just from, July 4th with Kevin Durant to, the Lincoln Riley situation to Brent Venables and now what the future holds, it's we're very blessed from a content perspective. If I can be greedy from a media sense, we're very fortunate with what we get to cover, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's Oklahoma. And Josh Bates will allude to this when we talk to him here in a minute, but the brand is always going to be strong. Like, it's, as far as college football programs, it's one of the 5 best brands in college football. You're going to have fans of other, schools argue against that, but the standard of excellence has been strong for 20 years or more. They haven't missed a bowl game since 98. So do the math. That's 23 years that it's been since Oklahoma missed a bowl game. Like, that's a strong presence in your most important sport at your university. And sure, only one national title, the one back in 2000. So they haven't had a national title since 2000. I know they've got 7. Sorry. They're still chasing 8, but the way that they've kind of run the Big 12, the standard of excellence, football is king, and Oklahoma is really, really good at it. So yeah, a lot to be thankful for covering the Oklahoma Sooners. And again, we're so thankful for you. And we're going to have our interview with Joshua Bates coming up after we talk to you about BetOnline. We're going to take a quick break for that. But here it is. BetOnline is your number one source for sports betting info, stats, news, and analysis. Get the latest odds and trends for every sport, professional and amateur out there, from football to basketball, soccer to esports. They've got it covered at BetOnline. It's the fastest and the easiest way to get in your betting fix. So head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more. BetOnline is where the game starts. Hey, and we're here with friend of the show, 2023 commit Joshua Bates out of Durango, Colorado, the longest tenured commit for the Oklahoma Sooners. He's been here longer than anybody, even most of this coaching staff, I would say. Josh, man, it's so great to have you back on the show. How you been?
Pretty good. Yeah, just in full swing football and, just ready to inch in closer and closer to just being in OU for, permanently. So it's pretty cool. It's kind of weird. So I got about a month and a half left, and I'm down, being a freshman at OU. So I'm excited. Yeah.
It's exciting times for you, just kind of on a personal and then also on a team level there at Durango. You guys are in the semifinals, got a big matchup with the 3 seed, or I guess, yeah, the 3 seed Durango coming up this Saturday. It looks like you guys have been really just putting up a lot of points so far in the Colorado State Championships. Just kind of, how have you felt about just your team? Do you guys feel like you're peaking at the right time?
Yeah, that's something that's, I've definitely seen pretty later on in the season. Is, early on we had a couple, mistakes that lost us a game, and had a rough go at the season, just getting into the full swing of football. But later on, I mean, we definitely peaked at the right time. And, especially offensively, I would say, I mean, we put up 58 points, I think it was last week in the quarterfinals against the team who's inner city Denver, and had some great athletes. And, we did a great job in handling our business. And I think, it's just, you did say it the right way, it's peaking at the right time. And when you get into the playoffs and deep into the playoffs, that's when you want to. And that's what we're doing right now. And I'm super excited for this weekend, Saturday, one here against Lutheran. And yeah, I mean, we're going to give them hell and, try to win this game and get to the state championship again. So, yeah.
Yeah. Got a little bit of business to take care of before you get to Norman. Since we last talked to you back in June, the recruiting class has just blown up. Like, as the summer went along, I mean, there were people that were a little bit concerned about where things were, 1st of June, but you were here on the show and you were talking, kind of preaching patience a little bit, understanding this was a process. But then June, July, August, the class blew up. Did it kind of even meet or exceed your own expectations for what the recruiting class was going to look like at the end of the summer?
Yeah, I think it definitely exceeded, because I mean, I know my guys that I talked to some guys, and the dudes that I talked to, I'm like, we're gonna get these guys here. Like, I'm gonna do everything I can to make sure that, they make the right decision and come to OU. And like all the offensive line, I was able to talk to them and recruit them, throughout their whole process. And me as an early commit, I'm also, talking to different skill guys and trying to get them there. I was talking to Dylan Edwards a lot, and that didn't go out, the way I thought it was. And, so you see it and it moves on, and it's okay, so the offensive line, I knew, the guys I was talking to, Logan Howland, Caden Green, Heath Ozeta, those guys were, our main focuses, and we got them all, and it was perfect. And, obviously Jackson talks to a lot of guys too. And, you never know, like, sometimes I'd be on Twitter and I'd see someone's name pop up. I mean, I had no clue. I mean, Colton Vasek, before he decommitted, that was a shock. And I mean, we were all shocked by that, and the outcome that happened, and obviously, you see stuff like that for sure. But the overall R class, just talking to them we have a group chat, and I'm really excited to see just how this class can, come in and change some stuff pretty early. And the way in our mindset towards winning, and the guys that I've talked to, it's definitely pretty exciting. And in the future of it, I'm really excited to see where everyone ends up and how it all turns out. And it's definitely a shock. We picked up some guys that I had no clue, so I talk to my guys and I recruit the guys that I've met and I know pretty well. And, maybe Coach Beanville will send me someone's, number and I'll talk to them. So stuff like that. But yeah, it's definitely been a shock. Some guys and we got a couple more that might hop on. So it'll be pretty exciting here. So yeah.
Well, just this offensive line class, yourself, you mentioned Logan and Caden and Heath. What do you think about how this offensive line group has come together for you guys?
Yeah, I think it's really, it's everything I think Beanbo, he was looking at and the guys that we were able to get, it's really going to help us later on in the future. The guys in the O-line room now, we got a couple interior offensive linemen that, are leaving, and there's a good opportunity, for some of these guys to come in early and being able to, see the field a little bit. And, that's something I took into consideration, that Caden took into consideration. And we all know that we're in a group chat too, and we're always in contact. And it's been really cool, just to have a group of guys that, we know what we're getting into. And it's really super exciting, especially, you have 4 offensive linemen, it's pretty cool. And yeah, so I'm super excited. The offensive line, those are the guys we wanted, and we're glad to have them on board. So,
well, it seems like you and Heath both kind of saw your profile grow over the last 6 months or so. You both kind of committed as 3 stars. You got a 4-star with the top 247 over at 247 Sports. Heath also got a 4-star as well. Is that kind of a cool thing? Like, like as you go into your senior season, like you're still grinding, you're still kind of almost trying to prove yourself a little bit. Maybe not prove yourself to recruiting classes, but just continue to improve your game. Did you get some sort of satisfaction to see like, okay, people are noticing and starting to take notice of myself, some of these other offensive linemen, as we put together another strong year at the high school level?
Yeah, no doubt. It's pretty exciting. I think, yeah, the 4-star I got from 247, it's actually pretty cool. I got a phone call from one of their recruiting directors, and he invited me to the All-American game, and that was awesome. The 4-star was super cool and something I've been chasing for a while. It's really just the label. You can it's like a verification on yourself, and it's something like us as these football players and recruits we chase. Is it super important what other people think, about you as a player? Not really, but is it cool to have that, that other people recognize? Yes. For me, I think the 4-star is cool. I've been chasing it forever. And I think it's something I say, because I get, comments about the stars a lot, being in school, and especially a small town in Colorado. And even the teams we play, it's like you don't ever see kids like that, come through this part of Colorado. And so you get a lot of it. And my response to it is, in about a month and a half, I'm at the bottom of the totem pole. So it's going to be, you get all the All-American stuff and all the publicity. And then when I get there, man, you got to prove yourself to the team, to all the guys, to all the coaches. And that's really, my mindset. And it's cool to see it, grow, being a 3-star, getting to the 4th, getting to the All-American game, being able to compete with those guys. And it's really cool, and my focus is on this season. And then right after this season, I'm focused on, being a freshman and trying to survive. So,
well, I think just real quick, Josh, I think it's just a validation of the work that you're putting in, right? Like,
absolutely.
Yeah. The stars, they matter to an extent, but really what it says is you're putting in the work and you've improved your game so much that people have taken enough notice. And you're right. You get to Norman and you start all over having to prove yourself, but you have that, at least the track record of the work that you've put in. knowing, okay, if I keep doing that and I take my work ethic to another level, then I'll be able to prove myself in Norman as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, obviously you're saying the right things, come in bottom of the totem pole, all sorts of that stuff. But there is that validation as we're discussing there too. And you get to test yourself again, right? Which is not the worst thing before you get to Norman, Oklahoma. Just the All-American Bowl experience. I know that's not on your immediate horizon and you've got this high school season you're finishing up, but what was kind of your reaction to that? What are you looking forward to about that experience?
Oh, it was awesome. I mean, as a kid, all the way through middle school, elementary school, I was looking at this same bowl game I just got invited to. I've been watching that game and seeing all the guys and all the NFL players that come through that game and how successful they are. And, I've always told myself, I was like, I want to be there. I want to play in that game and have my mark and, do my thing and, be Josh Bates and play like Josh Bates in that game and mark it down for history. And that's something I've always wanted to do. And the fact I get to do it is awesome, especially in high school. It's a very high honor and super thankful for it. And I'm super excited. I saw Sammy got invited a couple of weeks ago. And so he actually just got his picture taken today and was recognized at it for today. So I saw that on Twitter today. So that'll be cool. Hanging out with the guys that I'll be playing against in 2 years and also playing with. So it's really cool. I'm super excited for it. Yeah.
Is there a guy in that game that you're kind of looking forward to going up against in individual drills or team drills?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't. That's a good question. I haven't looked at the roster a whole lot. I think I forgot what that kid's name. He's a Georgia commit. D lineman, interior defensive lineman. It'll be interesting to see how I can do in one-on-one pass pro. So yeah, I mean, I've looked at a couple of them. I don't know the names off the top of my head. I'm expecting to see a level of competition that you don't see at a high school level often. You don't see that many guys with that skill on one team. And that's something I'm excited to, just experience and play with. And it's kind of like a warm up before you get to the collegiate level. So, yeah, I'm excited and really just to, build the relationships. So throughout college, you still have those relationships and I'm super excited. So,
Josh, I know we're rehashing a little bit of our conversation from June, but the way the fan base feels about you because of the way that you stuck with the University of Oklahoma, I think is going to be one of the big storylines for you coming in Oklahoma fans' minds. So I just wanted to revisit that and then get your thoughts on how this season has played out from afar for you with Oklahoma. Why again were you so committed to the University of Oklahoma when others simply weren't?
Yeah, I said it back in June, and I'll say it again: the pride, the tradition, and the culture of Oklahoma football is something that I recognized from a sophomore, and it was something that I've always wanted to be a part of. Obviously, you look at, you're watching on TV every single day. Every Saturday as a kid, I'd always turn on the TV and who's playing ball? It's like Bama, it's Oklahoma, it's Georgia. There's names in college football, and there's a tradition and a pride and a culture that all those programs are always very well known. And 10 years down the road, Oklahoma football is still going to be Oklahoma football, no matter who's coaching, no matter who the quarterback is, whoever's playing, coaching, it will still have the same brand, of Oklahoma football, if that makes sense. So that's something I've always, the toughness, the fan base. You guys are all amazing. You go to a game and it's something that'll really change your life, and it'll put a different perspective of football in your mind. Like, this many people can be screaming this loud in a small city of Norman, just to watch the Sooners play, and it's awesome, and it's everything I wanted to be a part of. And the next thing, obviously, is the amount of NFL players you guys put in every single year. You guys are the consistency of Oklahoma football, and our the way we think of it, and training like a pro, being playing like the pros do. And I mean, you walk through those halls and see all the jerseys in the facilities. It's really cool, and you look at it, and there's no place other than college football in my mind that's as dominant and as consistent as Oklahoma is. So yeah, those two things. I mean, I'm not a big I didn't like the whole recruiting process. I told Beanbo that as a sophomore. I'm like, I'm not trying to, play with people and get people thinking in other ways, and going to visits all over schools. I picked the schools I wanted to play at, and went to those schools and proved myself, and got those offers, and those are the decisions I made, and I don't regret it at all. And this is the best decision for me to commit to the University of Oklahoma, and I'm be a Sooner for life. So yeah.
Yeah. You might not have been a Sooner bred, but you'll be a Sooner dead one day. Many years from now.
I was Buffalo bred. My dad's
right.
a Colorado Buffalo, and I mean, OU beat the crap out of CU for like 3 years in a row, and all the years my dad played there, Oklahoma beat them every single year. Beat them in the Big 12 championship, 2002. 2004, beat them. So it's like, when I was making my decision, my dad was like, yeah, I mean, that's one team that I got my ass beat every single year when I played them. So he's like, you're allowed to go there.
Yeah. So is he gonna don the crimson and cream?
He has to. I said, there's no. I was like, yeah. I mean, I was like, I won't go to Nebraska because he hates Nebraska. I was like, I'm not going to Nebraska, but I'm like, if I go to Oklahoma, I remember telling him, I'm like, if I go, you have to wear the crimson and cream. You're not wearing your black and gold. No doubt.
Awesome. So how was Bedlam?
I went to Baylor.
That's right.
Yeah. So we got done with our regular season. I had my bye before the playoffs. And so week 10, we had a bye. We were able to, we had 3 practices for the week. And I went out to Oklahoma, watched Baylor play, then played Baylor. Obviously not the turnout, you want to see. I watched the Bedlam game last week, and it's the defense, like it looked just like a different football team. It felt like, from the weeks past. It was really, really fun to watch. And you can really tell the work and, and the culture and how it's all kind of forming together. And it's really going to help later on. And the work these guys have put in all year is really cool. And to see it pay off and beat a big rival like that, ranked opponent, is super cool to watch, and can't wait to be a part of it. So.
Well, and I think that's kind of where Oklahoma fans are at, right? Is let's start stacking those types of performances on top of each other, and trust that Venables and this staff is building this type of culture in Norman, Oklahoma. And no doubt that that's the case. But what's been just kind of your general takeaways? I mean, obviously the Baylor game you were on hand for. You mentioned watching the Bedlam game. I know that you're not, you're busy with your own high school season here, but what have your impressions been from afar of this year for OU? And what's kind of the messages that you're sharing with the other guys in this class about, hey, it's almost time to ink and come to Oklahoma? What are your impressions still now today of OU?
Oh, I mean, I think really the transition, like you can see just the transition of the coaches in every program. I feel like you always really have a transition year. And I've talked to the coaches, countless times, and they would say the same thing. Like, it's obviously the players, learning, obviously new playbooks, new ways schematically on how they're going to do and go about it. That's an adjustment. Also learning how a coach coaches, because every coach is different, and you're going to have different ways coaches go about, teaching and getting a game plan in, and that's an adjustment. And so I've talked to, many coaches on the staff, and we just say, yeah, it's been an adjustment, but it's really, if you give your best, every single week, no matter the outcome, you're going to be pretty pleased with it, and you're obviously going to have work to do. Win or lose, you're going to have work to do, and I've talked to Venables about it. Actually, I was at the Baylor game, and he was talking to me about it. So you can see their mind and where they want Oklahoma football to go it's in the right spot. And I'm telling you, give it next year, in these next the years that I'm playing there, and in future years, we're going to be damn good. And you can just tell the toughness, the culture, the pride, the tradition, everything, that I looked at and a lot of other kids looked at and playing in the program. It's being instilled right now. And it's an adjustment this year, and there's a lot of work to do. And that's kind of my takes, as I'm looking at it. I've never backed away, and I've never thought of, going somewhere else. And I love Oklahoma, and no matter how many games we lose, or how many games we win, championships, not championships, it's still a place that not a whole lot of people get the opportunity to play at. And so that's kind of the mindset. And it's super cool. And they've done a good job of staying in it this year. Yeah, super cool.
All right, Josh, real quick, I want to ask you a few questions. Just you can give me a real quick scouting report on your fellow offensive lineman. So let's talk Heath Ozeta. What stands out to you about him?
Oh yeah, obviously from a playing standpoint, I'm the only interior guy. Like, I'm 6'3", and all these other offensive line commits are 6'7", 6'8". Like, seriously, they're giant human beings. And so every time I talk with them or meet with them, like we're at a game or something, I like shake their hand. I always got to look up at them. I'm the small guy. I'm the little guy. And so, obviously these dudes are huge, and how big they are now, and being able to move. A lot of their play is how I play, physical, nasty, fast, smart. And it's really cool to see. Heath, he's giant, really nice guy. I've talked to him a lot, over Snapchat, text message. So I haven't met him actually in person. So it's kind of weird because, he's all the way up in Washington, right? And I'm all the way here in Durango. So it's like, I don't get to see him. So, no, great guy from what I know. I'm excited to get to work with him. So, yeah.
Yeah. It sounds like you kind of covered all three of those guys, big, mean, physical, fast. I think that's a pretty good wrap up on the scouting report. Then another question I want to ask you, Thanksgiving is right upon, and we're recording this Thanksgiving Eve. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving. So tell me one thing that you're thankful for this year, something you're looking forward to that you're thankful for.
Yeah, that's really, I was just actually thinking about that today. I'm thankful, number one, for my faith and my God and who I believe in, and, keeping me at my true north. Number two, I like to really thankful for my family. Without my dad, my mom, my brother, and everyone else, I'm not here today, doing anything. And the way they support me and, love me, unconditionally through everything is super cool. And, now that I'm leaving soon, you really start to notice stuff like that. And, I'm thankful for them. And number three, my family, or not my family, my friends. And number four, football. I get to, in the fall, I get to wake up every day, get in the weight room early in the morning, go to school, go to practice. I get to do that. I get to play football, and I get to play it, not only just play the game, but I get to play it at a really high level, and one of the highest levels you'll ever be able to play it at. And so the gifts that God's given me, and everything I've been able to do with it, that's something I'm really thankful for. And I can't wait to make the most of it. So those things, I've been thinking about it a lot because it's a new chapter in my life opening up. It's really cool to experience. It's kind of sad. It's kind of really exciting. So you get a lot of it and you really start to think about it. So it's funny you asked that. Yeah.
Well, on the Thanksgiving topics, I'd imagine your plate will be a busy plate, as it should. It
Absolutely.
should be a busy plate.
No
Can
doubt.
you rank some side dishes for us? What's top of the depth chart? What's kind of the top 2 or 3 there?
So, oh man. I mean, there's so many. So side dishes. We're gonna hash this out. So spiral honey ham. Okay, because I like turkey. Like I'm a big turkey guy. That's like one of my favorite things. Spiral honey ham is the best thing. And if they make it right, I don't even know how you cook it, but my grandma cooks it the best way possible. Spiral honey ham is the best. That is probably my tier 1. My tier 2, mashed potatoes with the gravy, obviously a tier 2. Okay. My tier 3. This is my last one. I love it. It's the baked potato casserole. That is something, I mean, it's a Bates family recipe. My grandma makes all 3 of those things and perfects it. And I haven't had anything. And Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday. I'm an offensive lineman. I love to eat. It's one of my favorite things to do. And so I'm just like, love this holiday. And so every time we go to, Las Vegas, it's like where my grandparents live. It's like a suburb and they make it. And it's those 3 things are the best things you'll ever taste in your life. And I hate how people skip Thanksgiving and they already start thinking about Christmas. And it makes me really mad. You know how they do that? Like you walk into Walmart and they already got all the Christmas decorations set up. And you're like, are you kidding me? It's the middle of November. Like, what are we doing here? We got to eat food first. So tomorrow the plate will be busy. Super excited about it. I'm practicing for the semis. It doesn't get any better than this. So, yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Hey, I've never had the baked potato casserole. Maybe I'm gonna have to look that up at some point. You'll have to send me that recipe.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm a big Thanksgiving guy too. I'm cool though with Christmas starting to merge in a little bit because I'm thankful for Christmas.
Okay.
But
yeah,
it's good times. But hey, Josh, man, it's always a pleasure, getting to chat with you. We wish you the best of luck this Saturday when you take on Lutheran and the rest of your season. Hopefully, you get to go to that chip and get to hang home a trophy before you finish out your high school career. But man, we're looking forward to watching you when you get to Norman as well. So best of luck with your transition, with your move. Hope you get clean highways as you head to Norman this winter. So best of luck and make sure y'all give Josh all the love, give him all the support you can on all the social media outlets. He's one of our favorites that we've had on the show over the last 6 months, 8 months, something like that. Always quite quotable. If you're curious, go back and watch our interview from June. It's out there on YouTube or whatever podcast feed you have as well. So go check it out. Josh, again, thanks so much for joining the show tonight.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
All right, man. We'll talk to you later.
See you.
Josh, happy Thanksgiving, man.
You guys too.